Browser-based MCP clients, like MCP Inspector, need proper CORS configuration to work. But most MCP connections through LLMs don't require it at all. We'll implement the basic CORSMiddleware setup for FastMCP using Starlette's middleware system. You'll see how to wrap your MCP server with CORS support while keeping the configuration simple for development, with clear guidance on what needs to change for production security. The code starts by importing components needed for CORS support, which is only required for browser-based clients. We create a basic FastMCP server instance, then define middleware that enables CORS with wildcard permissions, useful for quick testing, but not production-ready. A Python. From FastMCP, import FastMCP. From Starlette, middleware import middleware. From Starlette, middleware, CORS import CORSMiddleware. Hash create your FastMCP server. MCP equals FastMCP, my server. Hash define middleware, using wildcards for simplicity. Middleware equals middleware, CORSMiddleware. Allow origins equals hash restrict to specific domains in production. Allow methods equals hash explicitly list methods in production. Allow headers equals hash explicitly list MCP headers in production. Finally, we create the ASGI application with our middleware injected. This simplified example gets CORS working quickly, but remember, production deployments should follow the official documentation's recommendations to explicitly list MCP-specific headers like MCP protocol version and MCP session ID, restrict allowed origins, and properly configure pre-flight handling. A Python. Hash create ASGI app with middleware. HTTP app equals MCP. HTTP app middleware equals middleware. From FastMCP, import FastMCP. From Starlette, middleware import middleware. From Starlette, middleware, CORS import CORSMiddleware. Hash create your FastMCP server. MCP equals FastMCP, my server. Hash define middleware. Middleware equals middleware, CORSMiddleware. Allow origins equals asterisk. Allow methods equals asterisk. Allow headers equals asterisk. Hash create ASGI app with middleware. HTTP app equals MCP. HTTP app middleware equals middleware. This demonstrates the ASGI middleware composition pattern applied to FastMCP for enabling browser-based client access. The code configures CORS middleware as a wrapper around the FastMCP ASGI application, specifically to support browser-based debugging tools like MCP Inspector or custom web clients that connect directly to MCP services. Unlike standard LLM-mediated MCP connections, browser clients require explicit CORS configuration to handle the same origin policy restrictions. The implementation works by creating a middleware stack where CORSMiddleware intercepts all requests to add the necessary CORS headers. The example uses wildcard configurations for simplicity, allowing all origins, methods, and headers during development. In practice, production deployments should follow the official documentation's recommendation to explicitly list MCP-required headers like MCP protocol version, MCP session ID, and authorization, while restricting methods to only what the MCP protocol needs. This middleware approach maintains clean separation between the core MCP functionality and browser-specific requirements. This pattern solves the browser connectivity challenge while maintaining FastMCP's protocol integrity. The wildcard configuration, shown here, serves as a development convenience, but production systems should implement the more secure, explicit header configuration recommended in the official documentation. The value lies in enabling browser-based debugging and custom web clients without modifying FastMCP's core protocol handling. though it introduces configuration complexity that's unnecessary for most LLM-mediated MCP use cases. Let's break it down line by line. From FastMCP, import FastMCP. This imports FastMCP, the core class for building MCP tool servers that expose Python functions to AI models and clients. It handles protocol serialization, validation, and execution while supporting both LLM-mediated connections and browser-based clients like MCP Inspector. Note that browser-based clients require CORS configuration, while most LLM-mediated MCP connections don't. The class integrates with Starlette's ASGI middleware system, enabling extensible request processing through the middleware pattern you'll see configured next. From Starlette, middleware import middleware. Import Starlette's middleware class, enabling the middleware pattern for ASGI applications. This is required specifically for browser-based MCP clients like MCP Inspector, while LLM-mediated connections bypass CORS entirely. The wildcard configuration shown here allow origins equals, allow methods equals, allow headers equals, simplifies development but should be restricted in production per FastMCP's official documentation, which recommends explicitly listing MCP-specific headers and methods. From Starlette, middleware, CORS import CORSMiddleware. This imports CORSMiddleware from Starlette, enabling CORS support for browser-based MCP clients like MCP Inspector. The wildcard configuration, allow origins equals, allow methods equals, allow headers equals, simplifies development but should be restricted in production per FastMCP's official security recommendations. For production, explicitly allow MCP-specific headers, MCP protocol version, MCP session ID, and include options in allow methods for pre-flight requests. LLM-mediated MCP connections bypass CORS entirely, making this middleware optional for non-browser clients. Hash create your FastMCP server. MCP equals FastMCP, my server. Initializes the FastMCP server instance with the identifier myServer that will serve as the central coordinator for all tool registrations and protocol handling. This identifier appears in server logs, metrics, and the MCP protocol handshake for operational traceability. The instance becomes the foundation for all subsequent MCP functionality, including tool registration and request processing. Hash define middleware. Middleware equals. This initializes Starlette's middleware system for CORS support, required only when serving browser-based MCP clients like MCP Inspector. The wildcard configuration, allow origins equals, allow methods equals, allow headers equals, simplifies development but should be restricted in production per FastMCP's security guidelines. For production deployments, explicitly list MCP-required headers, MCP protocol version, MCP session ID, authorization, and methods, get, post, delete, options, as documented in the official FastMCP CORS configuration guide. This pattern follows Starlette's standard middleware composition while maintaining MCP protocol compatibility. Middleware. Middleware wraps your FastMCP ASGI app to handle CORS pre-flight requests, required only for browser-based MCP clients like MCP Inspector. This example uses wildcard permissions for simplicity, but production should explicitly allow only MCP's required headers and methods following the official security recommendations. The pattern enables clean separation, where CORS handling lives independently from your core MCP protocol logic. CORSMiddleware. CORSMiddleware handles cross-origin resource sharing for browser-based MCP clients like MCP Inspector. This middleware is unnecessary for LLM-mediated MCP connections, but required for web interfaces. The example uses wildcard permissions for simplicity, but production should explicitly allow MCP-specific headers like MCP protocol version and MCP session ID, as recommended in the official documentation. Allow origins equals asterisk. This enables cores for browser-based MCP clients like MCP Inspector, where JavaScript enforces same origin policies. The wildcard allow origins equals permits requests from any domain. Only use this in development. For production, explicitly list trusted origins and follow FastMCP's official core's recommendations. Restrict methods to get, post, delete, options, and headers to MCP-specific values like MCP protocol version and MCP session ID. Note this is a simplified example. Real-world deployments should avoid wildcards and configure CORS precisely, as documented in FastMCP's security guidelines. Allow methods equals asterisk. Enables all HTTP methods via CORS, including options for pre-flight requests, which is required for browser-based MCP clients like MCP Inspector. This wildcard configuration simplifies development, but should be replaced in production with explicit methods like get, post, delete, and options, following FastMCP's security recommendations. The middleware wraps the ASGI app to inject CORS headers, though production deployments should explicitly list required MCP headers instead of using allow headers equals. Allow headers equals asterisk. Enables all request headers through CORS, including FastMCP's required protocol headers like MCP protocol version. This wildcard configuration simplifies development, but should be replaced in production with explicit MCP headers as per the official documentation. Only necessary for browser-based clients like MCP Inspector, not for LLM-mediated connections. This closing parenthesis completes the core's middleware configuration using wildcard permissions for development convenience. In production, replace these with explicit domains and MCP-specific headers like MCP protocol version and MCP session ID, as recommended in the official docs. CORS is only required for browser-based clients like MCP Inspector, while LLM-mediated connections bypass these restrictions entirely. This closes the middleware configuration array for Starlette's ASGI application. The wildcard core settings here allow origins equals, allow methods equals, allow headers equals. Create a permissive development configuration that works with browser-based MCP clients like MCP Inspector, though production should explicitly list required MCP headers and methods per the official documentation. Note that LLM-mediated MCP connections typically bypass CORS entirely, making this configuration specifically for web-based tooling and custom front-end integrations. Create ASGI app with middleware. HTTP app equals MCP. HTTP app middleware equals middleware. This creates the ASGI application with CORS middleware, enabling browser-based MCP clients like MCP Inspector to connect. The wildcard configuration allow origins equals, allow methods equals, allow headers equals, simplifies development but should be restricted in production. Official docs recommend explicitly listing MCP headers, MCP protocol version, MCP session ID, and methods get, post, delete, options. The middleware pattern wraps FastMCP's core ASGI app, preserving MCP protocol requirements while adding CORS support. For production, replace wildcards with explicit allow lists following the official core's configuration guide. ASGI middleware for browser clients. The core's configuration shown enables direct browser connections to MCP servers. specifically for debugging tools like MCP Inspector or custom web clients, while standard LLM interactions remain unaffected by these settings. This example uses wildcard configurations for simplicity, but production deployments should explicitly list MCP protocol headers and restrict origins as shown in the official documentation. The gateway that stands between all clients